Yesterday, I was watching videos on debates that were happening in the 1950s among youth, and I almost got a bit emotional there because as I was watching these videos that were happening from youth from different countries with different issues, like a lot of those countries were going through independence. India, they were going through independence from the British. There was respect in those debates, there was respect in the questioning, and they allowed it's such a concept that should be normalized. It should be norm, allowing people to talk, respecting one's opinion, no matter how outlandish it may be, but still hearing them out. But I got emotional a little bit because I'm seeing the discourse that was happening in the 1950s. I'm seeing how all these people that were the aftermath of war, children of war, and how idealistic they are. Not idealistic in a bad way, but they hold optimism towards their future, and they hold a lot of hope for the future of their country. Not disdain. They had this patriotism for their country, and they allowed each of people there that represented their country to speak freely. They laugh together. They had their inside jokes, and it was just so endearing to see. And the intelligence and the wisdom that they exude in those videos, I feel is so lacking nowadays. And it was just it was enjoyable to watch those videos. And I just can't help but feel like we failed in giving our youth proper education, proper dialogue, giving them a safe space in terms of speaking their opinions. Now with this Charlie Kirk that's happening in America, like, it's evident now more than ever how what you're saying, what you speak on is something to be afraid of. Like, you can't speak freely. Free speech is close to dead. Why is it that you have to be afraid of speaking your opinion if it doesn't follow what the generally accepted or what is expected your opinion should be on? I just don't understand. How did we come to this? How did we come to spewing personal attacks on people rather than just getting to the root of the issue, rather than having a discourse that's not involving one's character, but it's involving the issues of that country? How did we get to this? How did we get to calling people names such as a bigot, stupid? Like, I do not understand. That's not productive on both sides. If one person in a conversation, in a debate, or in a discourse is not willing to have or not willing to listen, then there's no debate, there's no conversation. It's all one-sided. It goes one ear out the next. And that is an issue. If one side that has opposing viewpoints from yours is not willing to converse and is not willing to challenge you in your viewpoints, that is of a concern. I'm not saying that everyone from the left or the right has that mindset, but it's clear that that is happening today. And it's not something that is a single case. It's happening wider now, and it's rather concerning. It's not even the left or right who's right or wrong here. It's more of what it can lead to. I really binge watched it yesterday. I actively looked for those debates in the past of the youth, of those future leaders in the 1950s that were speaking out of ways in which they would solve their country's issues and the threats. I remember this case where this Filipino boy was saying, in order to prevent communism, make the communist the capitalist. And I thought that was, you know what? Yeah, that was the truth. Like, give them land. And I just saw like such profound viewpoints and how really they had the grace. What really struck me, because I feel as though I've done this too. I'm not avoiding the fact that I've done this too, but there are cases when we know we're losing an argument, when we know that we're kind of in the wrong, we kind of don't know, or we kind of made a mistake, we tend to not address it. We tend to not say, oh, you're right, you had me there. We kind of like run away from it. We kind of deflect. We kind of like weasel our way out because we have too much pride. We have too much pride, and we really do not want to be stupid. Like, the thought of being stupid, the thought of asking questions, the thought of just like being wrong, I think a lot of people are not willing to admit, are not willing to take account of that maybe I don't have everything all right, and that's okay. Like, nobody does, and that's why we don't idealize people that say they do. We don't idealize that. We understand their opinion. We listen to their opinion. But do we critically think and like sift through all this, the information that we have, and make our own opinions of it? Yes, we do. So yeah, I think that's one of the other things that I found to be wrong with this modern day kind of debate. It's like we're not willing to admit that we're wrong or someone's right. We're just willing to admit that this idea of mine is the absolute truth. You're wrong or I'm right. Like, and what I found greatly profound is in those videos that I watched in the 1950s is that when someone was wrong, they were like, oh, you got me there. Like, I understand that you had a good point there. And we really don't get to see that. It takes a lot. You have to respect the people. One of the speakers that was speaking out, he was from Italy. Italy are, if I try to find beauty in anything, the stereotype. But he was saying, when I viewed intelligence as a gift, like art, I start to respect even stupid people. And I think that should be the case. If we approach debates in a way to understand one another, not just get you a gotcha moment, or not to only speak your opinion, but actually listening to the other point of view and their viewpoints, then we can have actually some productive conversations. We can have actual progression. And I feel as though people are not listening. They don't humble themselves. See, the way I viewed it, you should view these debates, whether you believe it's your truth is the truth or not, you should go about it with the goal of understanding and of progression, not to just prove that I'm right, you're wrong. I don't think that's productive. If we both kind of understand each other's opinion, the thing with discourse, the thing with conversations, the thing is that it's not only to have like some sort of winner. I don't think that's the case. Open dialogue is here to prevent, I think the biggest thing, to prevent miscommunication, which will therefore prevent actual violence. Because if we look at actual violence, that's emotions, that is a deep-seated hatred for another group of people or another person. You'll need that in order to unalive someone. You'll need that emotion. And that, if you're able to communicate your thoughts, if you're able to have that discourse and conversation, it will prevent it from reaching that height. We're not only having discourse just to prove people that we're right or wrong. Sure, that benefits your ego, pride, that you can do it, that you can debate, but you're gonna win every time in a debate if you follow this viewpoint that I want to learn something. I want to learn and have my viewpoints challenged, because that's important in order for me to have a better understanding of my country, if it's involving politics, of the current issues that affect me and the people around me that I love. I'm going to need to be open to discourse, not because I want to win, but because I want to understand. And I want to understand how we meet in the middle and how things are progressing and how I may not have all the answers, because we don't. And so I'm going to continue to watch these 1950s student debates, because it just fulfills to me something like such longing to see that again. And if you do too, I'll link some of them below. I encourage other people to watch it, because I feel as though it's a good model for how we should approach these debates with respect on both sides and understanding that we don't have everything right all the time. And it's good to just admit that. Okay, till next time. You have a good day.